Hello everyone. In this session, we are going to deal with the second part of this topic, edaphic factor. We have already learned about the soil, components and soil profile. In this particular session, we will be learning about soil texture, soil structure, etc. Now, various combination of different size mineral particles form soil texture. If it is light in color, it is coarse textured soil, and fine textured soil will always be heavy or darkly colored. The particles which are present or which make up the soil are clay, silt, sand, gravel. Now, these could be classified according to the size, that too in millimeters. If a particle of soil is less than 0.002 mm, it is known as clay. If it is in between 0.002 to 0.02 mm, it should be called as silt. If it is between 0.02 to 0.2 mm, it should be called as fine sand. If it is 0.2 to 2 mm, then it should be called as coarse sand. If the soil particle is from 2.0 to 5 mm, it should be called as fine gravel. And if it is above 5 mm, it should be called as gravel. Now, depending upon the percentage of clay, silt and sand, the soils could be of different types like silty loam, silty clay, then sandy clay, sandy clay loam, sandy loam, clay loam, loam or clay. Like this, we have different types of soil depending upon the percent of silt, clay and sand. You are able to see here on this particular triangle, you are able to see that each side is represented by silt, clay and sand, and the percentages are varying from 10 to 100 or 0 to 100. Now, if you are able to see that a good soil is something which is having these particles, that is clay, silt and sand particles in proper proportions. We will see about this now. A sandy soil has a lot of sand and little bit of clay and little bit of silt, whereas a loam soil has all the particular particles of sand, which makes it a very good soil for the growth of plant and organisms. Clay soil is something which is having a lot of clay content in it. Why should we learn about this soil texture? It plays a very crucial role for nutrient supplies, aeration, root development and moisture content. The fine textured soils are high in nutrients status and sandy soils are low in fertility, because we will come to that later on. Sandy soils are having a lot of sand particles which have lot of spaces in between them. They can trap or store a lot of air, but they can't hold on to water and minerals, because of which they are low in fertility. Whereas when you come to a loam or a clay loam, you will find that they are rich in nutrient supplies, because they are having the water holding capacity, because of which the organisms that grow in them are also more. Once the organisms are more, the decomposition of dead and decaying material is more, and that will give rise to the rich nutrient status or high fertility in these fine textured soils. When we come to aeration, sandy soils are better than all the other types because they have a lot of air spaces. Coarse textured soils are better aerated than clayey soils. Since clay soils are having particles which are very, very minute, they will not be having a lot of aeration, even though they have high water retention. Root development, the percentage of soil particles affect the root development. If it is a loam that means it is a mixture of sand, clay and silt, then it is good for the root development. If it is sandy soil, since aeration is good, even though aeration is good, water holding capacity will be very less, because of which roots cannot develop properly here. If it is a clayey soil, water retention is more, but amount of soil air is very, very less, because of which again the root development will be very little. So you can say that the mixture of these three, that is the loamy soil, is good for the development of root. Then moisture. Coarse textured soils are easily drained. That means they do not have any water holding capacity. Fine textured soils are poorly drained and hold much water on the large surface area. They are good for water retention. Now, the soil structure. Now let us come to the soil structure. Arrangement of soil particles in the earth crust is called as a soil structure. Soil structure is influenced by texture, air, moisture, organic matter that it contains. So depending upon all these things, the soil structure will be seen. In soil, you have aggregates. They could be granular, platy, blocky, columnar, prismatic, or single grained. What are these things? If it is granular, small, spherical, non-porous, that is below or less than 0.5 centimeters are found in horizons, and root growth is good in this particular area. Platy aggregates means thin, flat plates that lie horizontally, one above the other, usually found in compacted soil. Here the soil has formed layers, because of which the root growth cannot be seen in this kind of a soil structure. Blocky, irregular blocks may be aggregated, something around 1.5 to 5 centimeters. The size will be of these blocks, because of which the soil is not conducive for the growth of plants or the roots of the plants. Columnar, vertical columns of soil having salt caps at the top, found in the soils of arid climates, desert climates. Prismatic, vertical columns of soil usually found in the lower horizons. Then single grain, soil is broken into individual particles that do not stick together, loose consistency, commonly found in sandy soil. So of all the types of aggregates of soil structure, you will find that granular type of aggregate is good for root growth. So this is granular, this is prismatic, this is massive, blocky, platy, and structureless single grain kind of soil structure. Now, let us also understand about the soil formation. So this is called as soil, the rock will be weathered and different kinds of soil will be formed. So this particular soil formation begins with weathering of bedrock. We have learned in the soil profile that bedrock is nothing but horizon R, where the parent rock will be there. This parent material will be broken down near this sea horizon. Then after the breaking down, loose or slightly bigger particles will be seen in the D horizon, but it is the A horizon or the top soil which is very, very fertile, and on top soil you will see the litter or organic matter, which is nothing but the O horizon. So this soil formation occurs from the weathering of bedrock. So here in this diagram you are able to see this. This is entirely, this area is entirely having only rocky structure. This is the bedrock and disintegrating rock. Water through rains or maybe wind, high velocity winds, all of them act on the rock. So the bedrock begins to disintegrate. This is the first phase. After a period of time, the water slowly breaks the rocky particles on the top. So you will see a little bit of soil produced. So this soil will be the medium for some organisms to grow, and when they grow, reproduce and die, they make up the organic matter. You are able to see on top slowly the organic matter accumulates. So this is a second phase where organic materials facilitate the disintegration. This organic material further will make the parent rock which is beneath it disintegrate and then give rise to the next stage, that is the slowly you will be able to form the third stage, horizons are formed. So now till now you are only seeing bedrock and parent material, but here you will see bedrock, parent material which is weathering, and then on top you will see slowly A and B horizons being formed, and then small plants, herbs, etc. are growing in this particular area, making up the biotic factor even more in number. So because of their growth, reproduction and death, you will see that organic matter or humus increases. In the last stage, you will see that soil profile is completely developed. You will see soil supports thick vegetation. Here you are able to see the bedrock, C horizon, B horizon, A horizon and organic matter. All the entire soil profile is seen. So here this particular phases, these phases 1, 2, 3, 4 phases, these are nothing but the weathering of parent rock to the soil. So this process takes a lot of time. So this is how the rock is slowly disintegrating and becoming soil. This is a process. These are some of the diagrams where you can understand the process of soil formation. Just now you have seen that the parent rock is being disintegrated due to the activity of plant roots. Here you will see that the parent rock is getting disintegrated because of the collection of water. Water is present inside the crack. During winter season, it freezes and expands. Because of the pressure of it, the rock will be broken, and then slowly small particles of soil also is seen. So you will understand that weathering is a process which will make the parent rock disintegrate into soil. Now, weathering could be of different kinds. Let us understand the different kinds of weathering. The first one is mechanical weathering. It is also known as physical disintegration. In this process, of disintegration, rocks are broken down by physical agencies such as plant roots, frost, thermal expansion, etc. Plants and trees grow on rocks, and the roots of these plants and trees enter into the cracks and fissures of the rocks. Over a period of time, these roots become thicker and induce the stresses on the rock, causing disintegration. So, plant roots could be a major reason for the breakage of rocks into soil particles. As I have shown you before, it could also be because of frost, where water enters into the cracks and fissures of rocks during rain. In cold climate, water gets frozen and increase in volume. Due to increase in volume, stresses are induced on the cracks, causing disintegration of rocks. Yes. Then thermal expansion. Rocks have different minerals in it. Different minerals have different coefficient of thermal expansion. That is, when they are exposed to the heat, energy, each of them have a different capacity to expand. So due to these variations in their thermal expansion and due to the temperature variations, these minerals expand and contract differently. Then because of these differences in their expansion and contraction, a stress is developed, and this process is repeated again and again, making the minerals expand and contract inside the rocks, resulting in disintegration and formation of soil. And then the last one is abrasion. Abrasion of rocks occur under the action of flowing water, blowing wind, moving ice, also known as glaciers. This abrasion results in the formation of soil. Second type of weathering is chemical decomposition. First one was mechanical, second one is chemical decomposition. It is also called as chemical weathering. In this process, the identity of mineral particles is destroyed and new chemical compounds are formed, such as clay particles, silicons, carbonates, and iron oxides. Chemical decomposition depends upon the pressure of water, temperature, and the dissolved materials in the water. It is dependent upon available surface for reaction, temperature, and presence of chemically active fluid. So in this chemical decomposition, you will find different processes. The first one is oxidation. It is a process in which oxygen ion combines with ferrous ion to form ferrous oxide. Iron containing rocks are subjected to chemical decomposition by oxidation. The reaction involved in this process is 4 ions of iron combined with 3 ions of oxygen, 3 molecules of oxygen to give rise to the iron oxide or ferrous oxide. This is a reaction with water. This is the rock becomes like this if it is reacting with water. That is how you will be finding the various rock formations, and then reaction with oxygen leaves a rock like this. This is a reaction on the rock with an acid, especially the acids which could be produced by the lichen organisms. Then this is reactions with organisms, other organisms. This is physical weathering versus chemical weathering. This is how you see a rock which is degraded physically, either by wind or by water, movement of water, or by various other physical expansion and contraction of minerals. Here it is chemical weathering, where it is leaving particular depressions inside the surface of the rock. Then, apart from oxidation, hydration and carbonation are also chemical weathering processes. Hydration is a process in which rock minerals combine with water to form new compound which will be different from the parent minerals. The decomposition of rock takes place due to the change in volume, which creates physical stresses within the rock. Carbonation is a process in which carbon dioxide present in the atmosphere combined with water to form carbonic acid. This carbonic acid reacts with minerals, rock minerals, causing decomposition. This is the reaction which is involved in carbonation. It is a very common practice in areas that have a great deal of limestone reserves. Then the fourth one is hydrolysis. Fourth chemical type of weathering process is hydrolysis. It is chemical weathering affecting silicate minerals. In such reactions, pure water ionizes slightly and reacts with silicate material or mineral. As for example, potassium feldspar in acidic water hydrolyzes to kaolinite, quartz and potassium hydroxide. Then the fifth type of chemical weathering is leaching, by leaching. Leaching is a removal of soluble materials by dissolving them away from soils. In this process, some minerals dissolved out of rocks and deposited separately, causing decomposition. So, in the process of soil formation, the last one, which is very, very effective, is biological decomposition. This is a breakdown of organic matter in soils, which is done entirely by microorganisms. Like bacteria, lichens, and other microorganisms induce chemical changes in their surroundings by producing organic acids, which help in weathering of soils. This is a pictorial representation of the rocks being broken down by the growth of roots of the plants. Here you see the plant growing right in the center of the rock. Slowly, as it grows, the rock will be broken down to pieces. Here you are able to see this ant is the most important insect or animal, you can say, that helps in the weathering of rock material. So these are the this is the example where because of the growth of certain organisms, the rock is being given depressions. Here the growth of lichens, we are able to see the crustose and foliose and fruticose lichens growing on the rocks and breaking them to or disintegrating them to soil particles. Thank you.